While that's going, I'm just gonna clean up my stuff. I neglected to mention you should have a sharps container around, and I do, but it's just in the other room. While this is spinning, I am going to get my 3cc syringes and 18 gauge needle ready. So I'm taking that long 32 gauge off and popping the 18 on, okay? And using the same needle to draw PRF up into 2 different syringes is not unsafe, so we're good that way. So drawing blood it's daunting if you've never done it before, but man, the first time or two that you get it, especially on you because you're kind of always the same, you're gonna know where your good veins are, and you're gonna know where your not so good ones are. Stay hydrated, that's the other thing. If you're not hydrated, your veins may not be the same every time. Once you get the hang of it, once or twice, you should be good to go. Do not let the fear of doing this stop you. Because honestly, to me, if you can inject your face, if you can Botox, if you can do filler terrifies me. This is why I do PRF. I want to get really good at PRF before I ever go to filler, because I'm terrified of an occlusion or something. And you know, Dr. Johnny will tell you that occlusions can happen with anything, and I absolutely agree with him, but it is much less with PRF, and it is even more safe if you're using a blunt tip cannula like I use. I'm not going to film that today. That'll be another video. But I do want to show you the product that I end up getting and how I decant that. Here, 4 minutes usually does it for me. I think this runs at about 750 RPMs. I know at 500, some people only need to do maybe, I'm sorry, more like 6 minutes. Check it after 4. Everybody's clotting is different. It depends on how much of what is in your blood. It depends on how hydrated you are. You know, some people have more platelets than others. Some people have more factors. Their blood is complicated. And from day to day, yours can even be a little bit different. So you don't want to go through all this and then pull a clot out of here. So just check it after 4 and go from there. Shut him off. See what we got. It's always a surprise. Isn't that pretty? Okay, so that is, and you can see how goopy it is. It's very jiggly. There's no clot in it yet. I will use this. There is a bit of kind of a mixed layer here, but even as this sits in the tube holder, it's going to keep settling to the bottom. So that I'm going to use. And I'm sure the other one's the same. They always are. So you can see that I get a pretty decent amount of PRF out of my particular blood. This on the side here is just because that does sit at a bit of an angle. I know there are centrifuges that, you know, the arms spin out and it takes that angle away. I'm not that fancy. This works for me. So I'm going to also use that. So this is my PRF. I probably got 4 or 5 cc's here, is my guess, but we shall soon find out. These tube stoppers pop right off, okay? Just be careful to not tip it. Kind of twist and pull. Easy peasy. Just pops right off. Same with this guy. Oh, also at this point, when this comes out, start a timer for 17 minutes. Because that's about how long you have to get this in your face. Unless you add stuff to it for microneedling, that can kind of extend the life of it. So I'm going to take my 18 gauge needle, make sure I always loosen up that plunger, and then I'm going to come right, let's see here, is that the best way to show you this is, I'm come right in the side, I'm going to put the bevel away from the wall, and I'm going to bring it down in there. I can't see very well, so I apologize, but I'm going to just get down close to that red, but not right in it. See how it's coming up a little pink? That's okay. And as this sits, see how I'm leaving a little bit left in there? There's gonna be a little more of that left when I'm done with all of this. So I always leave a little, I always end up at least microneedling that. But you can see that particular tube gave me not quite 2 mLs of PRF. I'm gonna put the cap back on the needle here. They always teach you not to do in school, but it's my own blood, so if I poke myself, I'm only contaminating myself. And then it always gets a little bubbly because all those good things in there. But I push the air out. I don't want a bunch of air in there trying to encourage the clot. Okay, so there's my first tube. You could cap that if you wanted to. I don't find the need to do that, but if you have caps laying around and want to, you can. Put the needle on my second syringe, and we're just going to do the same thing. Okay. Let's see here. Again, a few red blood cells, not going to hurt anything. If you get a few more than this, if it's a little pinker, you might just get a little light bruising when you inject, just because those blood cells will, just like a bruise, they'll be under your skin and they'll just kind of have to die and get cleaned up. But it's not going to hurt anything. And then the redder stuff, I actually have injected into my lips before, and it gave them kind of a nice little red glow, and they never really looked bruised or anything. So now we're gonna have crazy angles. But this is your PRF, okay? It's fairly clear, right? It is, if you can see the bubble in there, very liquid, very liquid. The first time that I drew this stuff, it came out like a big wad of snot, okay? And what was left to inject was basically PRP, I think, or PPP, platelet poor plasma, because all the good stuff was in the fibrin clot. So you do not want this to clot. Once it starts clotting, it's hard to work with, and it almost has to be like macerated and put with something if you want to get any use out of it once it clots. And you would not believe how hard it clots. When I tried to cut into the clot, I was blown away. I mean, our body knows what it's doing. But I now have 17 minutes, or about 15 now, to use 2, 3, almost 4 cc's of beautiful liquid gold PRF. Okay, I am gonna go microneedle this on my face. But hopefully this helps you. I know there's tons of questions about PRF. Please search my other posts. I've done several, including very picture heavy written version of kind of what I just told you. But I know some people are more visual learners, so I wanted to get this out there as well. And like I said, I get a lot of questions about it. I try to answer what I can. A lot of times what you're asking me is already been asked and answered on another thread or further up in a comment thread. Use those hashtags to search, use keywords to search. You'll come up with a lot of good stuff. I think they've done a great job setting up the website. But good luck with you, and I hope you work up the nerve to get your blood drawn and try this soon. I think it's one of the best things out there, and I'm so excited to share it with you. Bye, everybody.